Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. What's going on, Josh?
Doing pretty well, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Very good. How's the computer working this time?
So far, so good. There's
Good.
no echo that I'm hearing.
Right. Your mic's not mysteriously being shut off anymore?
Not yet.
Right. Not yet. I was going to say it's 10 seconds into the show. I
It's still early.
They're running late. Usually I figure now we'd be at the 3 or 4 second mark. They'd start turning things off and on. Hey, Carl, how are you? Good to see you.
What's happening, Carl?
Yes. Uncelebrity Kevin Hart, how are you?
Yeah, actually, you're on time and we're late.
So for tonight, we are waiting to hear from Wayne Poe. There were some connection issues, and we're really hoping he will join us tonight. But we were going to discuss, Rob, and I know you have a little more knowledge about the location than I do, but the Camarillo State Hospital, which actually, if you're speaking about planet Earth, is right in our backyard. I went to school out in that area, and I know that you have tremendous experience with that location and Ventura County in general, Ventura County, California. So I'm looking
Right.
forward to hearing your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tremendous location.
Right.
A lot of history. It was uh, it was a mental institution for many years. Has a dark past, dark history, and now it's in our Cal State University system, which is kind of crazy. And the funny thing is the school um, is trying to hide the fact that it was an old uh, mental hospital or a insane asylum, whatever you want to call it. But it was called a mental hospital.
Right.
Um, yeah, so it's crazy, and there's still, even though the campus is open, there are still the children's ward, the mental or the yeah mentally insane with the courthouse is still there. Um, so the the children's ward is there. The men's part of the men's and women's ward is still there. Um, the theater is still there. The bowling alley is still there. Some of the other wings, some of the administration wings that still have a lot of activity, some of the examining rooms are all still there. Now, the morgue, which is now the library,
Right.
has a lot of activity. The courthouse, which held the mentally insane, is still there. And that building is very, very dark. Some of the more sinister um, wards are no longer there. They were torn down and built into the some of the student housing. Yeah, so it's just got a really dark past. Um, and you still can get into some of the buildings. Some of the buildings, though, they are demolishing as we speak. Some of them they're renovating, so um, yeah, it's going to be interesting on what's going to happen. And the one building that they're working on now is the ward that was for the criminally insane and had the courthouse. That building is currently under construction as we speak. I just went through there last week, and then actually day before yesterday, I cruised by there because a friend of mine was asking me. So um, I was kind of in the area, so I just cruised in there real quick. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Not any, and that's not a pun. Just the location itself has a lot of activity. Now, the last time I went through um, was maybe 3 months ago. We went through the children's ward where I actually found I was doing a ghost box session, and also I saw an apparition of a little boy that we made contact with, and then so later we left, came back, and where we made contact with the little boy, there was a no, there was a toy phone, a Fisher Price phone. I actually have it here, but it's no biggie. Um, and then in that same location, I was talking to another investigator um, who also heard. Remember the see and say where it said like you put on a cow and then you pull the string and it says the cow says moo, and it has different farm animals. They actually heard one of those playing, um, and they were in the spot where I was standing or where we made contact with the little boy. They walked around through um, through some of the rooms there, and they even went into this other administration um, part of the building. Went looking through there. There was nothing there. So yeah, it's kind of funny how there's some residual energy and
Right.
also there's activity.
Right. Right. That's a very good point. And you brought up a lot of good topics there. One of the things I noticed that investigator Richard Sennett, who had investigated the property, said the school really is denying not only the history, but also the current activity that's still there, apparently,
Mhm.
that still very prevalent.
Yeah,
And I found that very interesting because there is the school just literally is just turning a blind eye to everything going on,
yeah,
and people are still reporting things.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
ch-
and you really still have to be careful because campus police now,
right,
there's both campus police and there is their own police department. If they hear you in the buildings or if anybody reports you in the buildings, oh, they swarm that place.
right,
We just literally walked out and we saw because there's like a courtyard. Two cop cars are flying down that courtyard, and they both went to the building that we just came out of. Because we did hear some people in there, so we kind of like hid in one of the showers. Um, and then so they passed, and then we ran out the other way. So we kind of just we saw the police, hauling ass. We were walking, um, and then yeah, they were just like on it. They were searching the building. Luckily we just got out, but a lot of people that do, because there are apartments, there is um, I guess public housing there also. So, and one of my friends, she lives on the campus, so she's the one that I met when we went through there because she said, hey, there's still a bunch of buildings open. So she kind of took me through some of the buildings, and
right.
then I started doing a ghost box session there. It's kind of crazy. But
Wow.
Wayne, are you here with us?
Well, Rob, while
Wayne?
you look for Wayne, Roland, Nora, Kanga, Sean, how are you? Thank you for joining us. We are discussing Camarillo State Hospital, and Wayne Poe hopefully will still be our guest tonight to discuss his documentary, Hotel Camarillo. I believe we have Wayne on right now. 1 second.
Maybe.
Stand by.
Wayne, if you don't have any video, that's fine. We can hear your audio. Are you still there? Wayne. Well, see, here goes our technical difficulties.
Right.
Wayne,
Not even surprised.
Wayne, are you there?
Not sure. Sounds like someone's doing plumbing or light construction.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Wayne, you
Hi,
there?
Shar. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Again, we are discussing Camarillo State Hospital here in Ventura,
All right, can you hear me?
California. Aha,
Yeah, we can hear you.
Mr. Poe.
If you don't, oh, there you go.
I
We can
can't,
see your
I
your
can't even
more-
fix this right. I'm looking at the screen over here and the cameras over here.
We definitely see your eyes. If it's possible. There we go. Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. Right
We're
there.
over here and I got to look at the camera to talk to you guys.
No, just look at the camera. That's fine. Don't worry about what we're. Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about us. Nothing to look at, really. It's just, I mean, look at us. It's nothing to look at.
I'll
I'm
tell
so
you what I'm
glad you
gonna
joined
do.
us.
I try to set my phone up maybe so I could see you on another screen.
That might work.
Let's see.
We were discussing the location while you're setting that up, Wayne.
Okay.
And we both watched the documentary. Rob already knew a lot about it. Ventura County is kind of my stomping ground, so I always knew about the hospital, but I had never done any extensive research like you or Rob. And the amount of activity, and what I loved about your documentary is you explained a lot of the history of the location in such a way that it led to a more a clear understanding of why the activity is so prevalent even to this day. And the history of the patients that were there, the investigators that always had activity or something happened there just because of the not only maybe the energy of the location, but incidences that happened on the property. And I like how you detail that exclusively.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm confused I got two different webcams going and
Not
trying
a
to see
problem.
which one works. I took it maybe a little more seriously than the documentary before it, but for a new documentary, I'm trying to make it more interesting because it was a straight and narrow, serious documentary, for Hotel Camarillo, but it's not really exciting for the audience to sit through. I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, it's good if you're sitting at home, you're interested in the subject, that's fine. But if you're gonna go see it somewhere, it's kind of, I don't know. It's just straight and narrow. There's no full body apparitions in the documentary. There's no people, dude, run. There's none of those scenes or anything like that. So it's mostly, here's what we caught. I mean, we caught DV. We didn't really catch any ghosts or anything like that on camera because doesn't always happen in real life,
Right. But in that way, though, I like how you detailed the history so we could get a real, unbiased approach and perspective of Camarillo State Hospital, the patients that were there, how many, I believe in the documentary, it mentioned 20, 25, 30, I think up to 45 patients that were young minors, children for one caretaker. At times they were that busy, and that was very heartbreaking. And that
there's a lot
emotion
of
that was left and lingers there.
There's a lot of things that are not really well documented about those times, especially before 1976, because that's when the investigations started coming in to the way the patients were treated, and in general for psychiatric wards, how they're just they're left to sit in their own filth in the hallway or something, and they clean up. From what I read, they clean up some of the areas. When Governor Reagan visited one time, according to that one book by the, it was supposed to be a diary by one of the nurses that were there. They said they clean everything up and put patients in new clothes and things like that. When somebody like a governor would come by, and they'd just see what they wanted him to see.
Right.
And it wasn't until later that a lot of those, you can just look it up in Google. The real investigations came in to see how these people were treated.
And that's what I think is missing from that locate. Well, the history and documentation of that location, at least from what I've heard. I mean, just growing up and being raised in the area and hearing about the hospital, but not knowing a lot of that. And that's what I found so fascinating about your documentary, is you detailing that.
Well, thank you, because a lot of people that work there don't really appreciate the documentary, because a lot of them are like, I don't want to say a cult, that's really unfair. But a lot of people that have worked there saying there was nothing paranormal going on there. There was no incidents of anybody being mishandled or abused or anything like that. That's all hearsay and this and that. and it's in the newspaper. You go to the LA Times archives, you can find some
Well,
patients hung themselves with towels off of a towel rack and things like that, and burned themselves, and it's all there. But there's a major group of people, former employees, that deny all those things. And then I noticed when I go to some shows and sell the documentary, people come up to me and they said they worked at Camarillo, and they're looking at the documentary, like, like turning it around and looking at it. And I said, "Did you see things like that there?" And they'd look at me and go like that. They wouldn't even want. They don't even want to talk. They just look at me like, they're like the box of the DVD is kind of like gonna jump out at them or something.
Right.
Yeah.
so yeah, it was kind of funny because, like what you said, so if you go to the local papers, like the local Oxnard paper, which was the Press Courier, and then they had the Star Free Press, which is a Ventura paper, and yeah, the LA Times. So in those three newspapers, there was always articles written about the things that were happening. Um, and me personally, I knew and grew up with, well, it was my aunt's best friend. Her name is Helena Jackson. She actually worked there. And once the location closed, she would tell me horror stories on what happened there. Um, when she worked there, she could not talk about anything. But once the location closed, she was willing to tell stories and just on how horrific some of the things were and how she got attacked by inmates with with butter knives. She was stabbed with a
Mhm.
butter knife on several
Oh,
occasions
wow.
with forks, things like that. um, and then she said, but once when people would get caught doing that, or once they were put in restraint, she said they would go through shock treatment, they would go through all kinds of horrific things after that. So yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, I mean, it was just the way that they were treated was very inhumane.
Well, yeah, we had
And
a
they would put
first-hand
the water
account by
bells
Mr. Montoya, that
hmm
we interviewed in the documentary, where he was there in 1963
hmm
for like 8 months, and all the things he told us he saw, like people getting hosed with a fire hose and their skin being
right.
ripped off by the fire hose. Just things like that. They didn't know how to. I guess they didn't know how to handle some patients, so they just became like medieval and brutal.
Right. Well, it seems like there was just, if you talk about numbers and you look at the data, how many caretakers there were per patient, there just wasn't enough to take care of people. I mean,
Mhm.
there's no way. And some of the video clips just demonstrated how quickly chaos can ensue, especially with patients that have special needs or need dedicated treatment. It just wasn't available for them, so they were left to fend for themselves. And then there wasn't a lot of, just seemed like there was a staffing issue, plain and simple, just to start. I noticed that. And then you just compound all of the other emotional stress, mental stress, and it becomes emotional and spiritual chaos.
Right.
You
Yeah.
want to you want to know something kind of
Right,
funny?
Carl?
Mr. Montoya is like a third cousin. So the Montoyas and the Ortegas, like from the Ortega Chili Company, they're relatives of mine. So it's kind of funny. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
I've lost touch with him. He stayed in touch with me for a couple of years after Hotel Camarillo, but he had a very precarious living situation, and I don't know where he is now. He doesn't answer emails or anything like that.
yeah,
So
yeah. No, it's kind of funny. I mean, it's such a small world.
right.
And I mean, I have such deep history in the county. So
Right.
yeah, my one of my uncles, great uncles, was a sheriff of Ventura. Um, yeah, and he was a Montoya.
Wow.
So yeah, it's kind of crazy. But and I keep on using that term. God, I'm sorry. It's
Hey,
not
Edward.
fun. It's just something that I always talk about. So Wayne, so with this documentary, now I'm going to bring up some stuff.
Okay.
For those of you that didn't see the documentary, there's some things that happen behind the scenes, and one of the funny parts was one of the investigators there. I'm not going to call him out by name, but he had a pretty scary experience with the apparition, where he actually soiled his pants. And I'm not going to say what. So he basically pooped his pants. It was that terrifying of an experience for him. Wayne, can you talk about that experience a little bit?
Yeah, one of the investigators would constantly tell everyone in earshot, no matter what paranormal event he was at, how he, well, forgive me, crapped his pants, threw up when this spirit ran right through him. I mean, he'd tell everybody he didn't even know. So when I brought up that didn't happen at Camarillo. So when I brought it up for the documentary, I said, I need you to tell that story. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to embarrass myself. Dude, everybody in California and anybody that knows you knows that story. What's the problem? You know?
Right. Once everyone finds out, you might as well just lean into it and just roll with it. Yeah, I'd wear it like an honor, a badge of honor. Sure.
Eventually, I got him to talk about it.
Right.
But it was like pulling teeth. And then I filmed it. Maybe there's a couple interviews. I've got I can make 5 more Hotel Camarillos and all the footage I have.
Right.
Because I had to film interviews over and over again, and that includes that particular person because he wasn't comfortable. We filmed during the daytime at Camarillo. We filmed nighttime near Camarillo. Then finally, his wife filmed one. And it was raining and everything else. And by that time, just give me the footage. I mean,
right.
It's raining in the background. It's going to ruin the audio, but at least I got it.
Well, here's my question, Wayne. Did his body eject from the front and the rear because he was scared, or was an issue of fear, or when the spirit ran through him, call it plasma, whatever the substance was, did it cause a physical reaction or pressure on his organic human system to do that? I mean, what was it? Was he just scared, or was it an actual reaction?
From what he described, he was scared when he felt and saw this thing.
Sure.
But when it went through him, that's what caused the reaction where he just voided things.
So it was, I guess my question is, it's an unavoidable reaction for all humans, or, because if someone's not scared for some reason, maybe that wouldn't happen to them. Or is this something where when we interact with something that strong, our body just, out the front and out the back? I mean, it's just like what happens. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. I
think it would depend on the person. Like, how some people get seasick on a boat and some don't,
Right. Okay.
And there's something else that happens at Camarillo we can talk about later called walk-ins. It's not exactly a possession, but you sort of zone out and you sort of move away from the group and do some, and on your own. That's what happened to that person too. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's how sensitive somebody is, because I don't consider myself sensitive or feel things at all. I don't know how that would affect me.
Right, that's what I'm asking.
That way, but it just depends on the person and maybe how dialed in or tuned in they are to paranormal phenomena. I wouldn't know any other way to describe how it
That's
would be.
That's a good theory, though.
Else.
No, it's a good theory. I mean, I appreciate even just discussing that, because I was just curious on how, if it was just out of simple fear, which I understand, or again, it was just a natural, our body reacting to that energy and it's such an intense level, such a high intensity level.
Yeah, that same person also saw an intern with red hair and white a white uniform that none of us saw. Wow. Well, we weren't outside in the hallway to see anything, but he saw that too. And there was one point where I told, okay, where were you standing? And he showed me. And where was this person standing? And he showed me. And I told him, okay, let's stand. I'm going to stand you right over there. And I said, man, I am maybe a foot away from your face. I can't even see you. That's how dark it is in here. How did you see that person from across the hall?
Right.
So I think it's more of I don't know. It's more of like if you're more in tune, you can see things or feel things at a stronger level than regular people can. I'm sorry to say regular people, but
No, I understand what you're saying. No, you're not. Yeah, it's not us and then everyone else is regular. You're just saying maybe someone who's not familiar with the paranormal, or maybe not saying they wouldn't be open-minded to something, but they may just not have a conscious awareness of it. It may not be in their daily wheelhouse or their routine or anything like that.
right.
Sure.
Yeah, because I've been in 2000 from 2010 to 2013. I was at Camarillo I don't know if it's say hundreds of times, but at least 100 times.
Wow.
And I was with people that saw things down the hallway. They're going like, "Oh my God, I see things running across the hallway, and this and that." And I'm looking, I don't see anything, but I can't dismiss the people that are with you. It's 2 or 3 people going nuts. They're seeing things running across the hall.
So, so let me ask you this: what was there a turning point or milestone for you? Was there something you witnessed that you went, okay, there is validity to this location? Something that reached out to you that just grabbed your attention. I imagine being there so many times, there must have been maybe something.
That particular location, no, because
okay,
I was going to say to myself, because it's probably the most active location I've ever been to in terms of sounds and things you hear in the back, like a door slamming, stuff like that. But I never saw anything there. I was thinking that if I'm going to see something, this is the place I'm going to see something.
Right.
That's how active and busy it is. And other people have seen things, and I never saw anything. That hallway, I even walked down that hallway and said, "Please touch me, do something to interact with me so I know you're there." And I walked down the hallway. I didn't see any shadows running or nothing. I went all the way to the end by myself and came back, and nothing interacted with me. I would like to feel something touch me and things like that. But the strangest thing is, whenever I do see something, it's not on an investigation. It's like I'm everyday normal things. Like I'm at a bar with a friend, I see something walk by. I'm walking in my car after work, something's coming up on me. That's the only time I see something, not during an investigation, which is really weird.
It makes
that's pretty common. I mean, it happens.
It makes you wonder what different people tune into, or what frequency we're aligning with. Maybe when we're distracted by something, some people do it when they're consciously aware of what they're doing and they receive communication or contact or evidence, and other people do it when they may be thinking about something else, or they're distracted and things are happening in their peripheral. So it's interesting how different people, we all have these experiences, but they all happen to us at different times at different places.
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing that was interesting. There's one person that wasn't in the documentary, and Rob knows who that is, and the other person that soiled himself. They could see infrared light. It was strange, because I had infrared. The only way that I could see it is infrared light casts shadows just like a regular light. You just can't see it.
Right.
Unless you're looking at it through an infrared camera, and I could see that, and it was shining off some of the walls, and shadows would move, and I'd see these people go like that. They noticed it out of the side of the. There's 2 of them that would notice it, and I didn't feel too about their abilities. I didn't feel too enthused about their abilities, and now as a person, but we're not getting into that. But
I understand.
it was interesting that those 2 people, they saw shadow play on the wall, and they noticed it, like you would have a regular light doing finger puppets or something.
Right.
Whenever my camera would move, they noted, they look, what was that? I said, I think that was just my camera moving with the shadow. I don't know how you could see it without a camera, but they saw it, or they felt it or noticed it move.
Wow.
And speaking of which, one of those investigators that you're talking about, I was at another location, and I was filming using an infrared camera, and I would move it, and they would like follow the light, and I was like, "Wait, you can see that?" And they were like, "Yeah, I can see it." And I was like, "What do you see it?" And they said, "Oh, I can see it like it's acting like a flashlight." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And they said, "Yeah, look." And so they said, shine it over here. And they were using it like a flashlight. And I couldn't believe that. I was shocked.
Yeah, that's weird. I've
That's a cool party trick. That's
It
really
is.
cool. Yeah, I mean,
Did
yeah.
Did
Carl-
Rob's sound go out?
What's that?
No, Rob's there. I heard something though, Wayne. I did hear that. That I kind of stopped. I was like, "Wait, what is that?" I heard that in my earpiece.
Okay.
What was it?
Carl says some people have more rods and cones in their eyes. That's incredible. Yeah, different sensitivities. And even with hearing, there are people. Although 20 kilohertz is our level of human hearing, there are obviously people more sensitive to 18, 19, 20 kilohertz, and some people can't hear it. So there naturally would be, and I imagine, some type of bell curve regarding the sensitivity of what frequencies we can see and hear. Some people can smell better than other people. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, but that's still, very impressive because I've seen those in person and I don't get that. I don't see it.
Right.
So you guys were asking, like, well, Josh was asking, like, so, when you're in that building, when you do go in that building, you do hear she wants to,
What?
what I was going to say, no, somebody was talking about my shirt. I'm sorry. But so, like, when you go in that building, you'll hear screams. You'll hear like loud banging sounds. I mean, it's super loud. Now you have to remember, these walls are like concrete walls.
Yeah.
They're super thick. And one time, one of my friends and I went, and no longer with us, but like, it was Gerald Reynolds. So Jerry Reynolds and I went, and it sounded like somebody was like pounding on the walls. So I was trying to pound on it, and so I was pounding on the walls. It sounded like this.
Yeah,
it's
just
like
hand slapping, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's like just like you pounding your hand, and I'm like, there's no way. And so I'm like, it sounds like steel, just like somebody like slamming steel doors. And it was getting louder and louder and coming towards us. And I was like, this is impossible. These are brick walls. Where the hell are these slamming sounds coming from? And he was like, well, maybe it's the pipes. And I was like, Jerry, there's no way that it's the freaking pipes. These are doors slamming. Like somebody's walking through and just slamming doors. And we couldn't see anything. It was pitch black. We knew nobody else was in the building with us. And so, so I grabbed my flashlight, and using a flashlight there is so, you're putting yourself at risk because the buildings are so, and they're constantly patrolled. Right. So if you break out a flashlight, you're exposing yourself.
Right. You have to keep it on red and on the floor.
Yep. Anybody out on the outside of the building is going to say, hey, there's somebody in the building.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm chancing it. And I flashed a flashlight. There was nobody in the building with us. Or else you'd hear like footsteps, like heavy footsteps walking down. You get a flashlight, flash it down like near the floor. There was nobody else in the room with you.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that before. Even one particular group I used to go to Camarillo a lot with, they would call the entity pipes, because it was like the heating pipes in the building would go boom, boom, boom. Right. And there's one particular section. That group gave me a piece of video. I don't remember if it's in Hotel Camarillo or not. It should be, where they were communicating with it, and they would say, do this, and they do that shave and a haircut thing, dun, 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 complete this, and you would hear it, boom, boom, like that. Right. You go, see, it works, Right. And wow. They came up with an interesting theory, because there was one person that said, well, why don't you please use your voice? Don't use these pipes. And then I think Rebecca, that was there, she said maybe they can't speak. Maybe they're developmentally disabled. Maybe they can't speak, and that's how they're using their voice. They're hitting the pipes. Right. That's interesting. That's an interesting theory,
Right. That's fascinating.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. The whole thing. I mean, that location. If you're ever out in California and in the Camarillo area, it's kind of desolate. It's more going towards if you're in Camarillo, it's more going towards Malibu, out towards Malibu area.
Right.
Um, the location is just amazing. I mean, it's so pretty. And now at the campus, and then you talk to students and
Right.
that are in the dorms, and they'll tell you stories.
Right.
And especially the library. The library used to be the morgue.
Right.
You've been there at night, right, Rob?
Yeah, several
You know,
times.
if you ever been to any other college campuses, there are people walking all over the place at nighttime, but
Yep.
not at former Camarillo.
No,
It's dead.
it's
And if you see people walking, they're two at a time,
yep.
not just one person.
No, they walk in
Right.
pairs. Anytime after sundown, it's like a ghost town. You wouldn't even think it's a campus.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. For those that are just joining us late, tardy slips will be handed out later. We have Wayne Poe on this evening, and he's discussing his documentary, Hotel Camarillo, and that is based off of Camarillo State Hospital in Ventura County, California. So welcome,
See it on
tardy
Amazon
students.
Prime.
Yes.
If you have Amazon Prime,
importantly.
I'm going to send up another link. I put a link in the chats.
There it is.
So
Good point,
it's
Kanga.
a great
Yeah.
film. It was well done. There's different. So unfortunately, Peter James is no longer with us, but he was in the film. There was a lot of great people in the film. Now, speaking of which, there are certain investigators. So, and this happens throughout the country. There's a lot of locations where people get very possessive over a location and don't
Right.
want any other investigators going to that location. I personally had an experience with this person. I went to the location to Camarillo a couple of times and posted up some videos up on YouTube and was immediately asked to take them down. Literally within 10 minutes of the video being posted, that person reached out and told me to take them down.
Doesn't that person have to work or do something? I mean, 10 minutes? I mean, wow, that's really getting on the notification system. I mean, they really didn't want you to post that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the story
Go ahead.
behind Hotel Camarillo could be a documentary in itself.
Right.
Because
That's
shortly after it came out, I guess certain people didn't feel they didn't have enough screen time, and there's a lot of baby mama drama going on. So a lot of the people in the documentary no longer speak to me.
Okay.
And some of them gathered around this one person. They wanted to remake Hotel Camarillo the right way. And they went on radio shows saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do it the proper way. And, it's going to star someone that wasn't in it, and for a good reason. And that was, I don't know how many years ago was that, Rob? They still haven't filmed one. There was one frame of that yet.
That was what, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, I guess here's my question, and I'm not an seasoned investigator like you and Rob, and I've never made a documentary, but if I was at a location and I lived near there and I was investigating it, I would want another professional team to come in and say, hey, look, I'm not crazy. There's a lot of stuff going on here. And maybe not everyone, or, maybe you might want to help protect the area because there might be some people that may not respect it or treat it the same. But I would want some type of validation at that location. So it's odd that these professional investigators, and I'm not passing criticism, I'm just questioning the tactic or the motive here, because wouldn't you want someone to come in and validate that and then say, hey, you did capture something amazing, I did too, or let's see what you got. That would be my first thought.
Well, it's a lot like cavers. Some cavers find a new location to go and discover a new cave, but they don't want to tell the general public where it is, because then it gets trash in there.
Okay.
They destroy it and everything, so they keep it to themselves.
Sure. But I guess that's my question, because if someone like Rob's, I've investigated with Rob, he's very professional. And so even if they vetted people or just, they would see that Rob was there, out of out of a passion to help research that place, and he's very respectable. So that would be my question: is why not filter at least a few people to come in?
Well, it's kind of funny. Of course, you can't officially investigate Camarillo.
Oh well, okay. I should start there. Sure.
And before I even started the documentary, because people in it were having questions, they were wondering if they're going to get in trouble for showing this footage because they were in a building, they were basically trespassing. So I contacted the media person for CSUCI, and I asked, can we go in here, or are you okay with us using this footage? And they wrote me a letter, but I still got the letter. And she said, we don't care what is on YouTube about any paranormal or anything. We don't want anything to do with paranormal. I don't care what you have, but we don't allow investigation. So I said, okay, we have 10 years worth of investigations already been on YouTube. You said you didn't care. There's a documentary, pretty much,
Right.
So the thing is, though, well, like as I said, some people, well, actually, like Rob said, they get a little, they think this is their territory, and you're not supposed to be there. And of course, paranormal people that it's really wrong for you to trespass. You're making the rest of us look really bad.
Right.
Except Rob can tell you, almost every single group in Southern California, it's all around Southern California, has been to Camarillo. Every single one of them. And it's funny that Rob brought up a certain person just a little while ago who was really mad at me and blocked me one time because I was talking about getting in Camarillo, and he got mad at me. And Rob just said he was there.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, and how much of that, and I'm just being I don't want to criticize anyone, but just to be objective, how much of that is ego and a human trait, and how much of that is an oppression or maybe a possession from the location where how you get it?
It's more ego, I think.
Okay.
Maybe personally, I think it's ego.
Okay.
We had, because we had the same thing happen with Linda Vista Hospital. A group in Boyle Heights kind of took over, and they were paying people. They were having people They were charging people to go in and investigate. And they were supposed to be in a paranormal investigation team. They had the location to themselves like 3 years or more. The complete location to themselves. They didn't investigate one thing. They could have set up cameras for 4 days or 2 weeks in one particular place. They didn't do anything like that. They didn't make a documentary about it. They just money.
So
And then when I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, they charge $600 per investigation for a 2-hour investigation.
Whoa. Wow.
And,
to have that location, Rob and I'd be dragging our home studios in there and wondering how we can, get an electrician in to get more power to do some, research.
Exactly.
Wow.
If they were actually a part of the paranormal community, is that this is the greatest opportunity we've ever had.
Right.
The developers don't care what we do in here, so because they filmed movies there, they filmed porn, a lot of porn there. So on the days they weren't filming, it was just empty,
Right.
And you could have set up they had 3. Was it Rob? Was it 3 stories?
It was 3 stories.
Yeah.
Actually,
Wow. Missed
no,
opportunity.
it was 5 stories.
You could have had an experiment on every story, and literally you could lock up the place and no one would bother it, and you'd have so much evidence, so much research.
Right.
Is this haunted, or is it just pieces of the building falling down, or what's going on? And then they didn't do it. It was squandered. It was just
And
the
the sad part was.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Hi, Deb.
Well, the same thing happens with Camarillo. People that go in, they keep people that are against trespassing. Of course, trespassing is bad. We understand.
Right.
A lot of the buildings that are in Hotel Camarillo are no longer on the campus. They've been bulldozed and they're gone. So at least you have something on film from those buildings that are no longer there. And most of the people I know, we don't break in. That means like smashing a door or breaking a lock or something. People just walk. We used to do the old days. We'd walk around and see if the door's open. The door's open. Well, let's walk in. But that's people wouldn't demolish the place or hurt it. I mean, one of the greatest things about Camarillo up until recently is there's no graffiti. There's nothing like out of place. I mean, eventually, during the years after Hotel Camarillo, we saw doors, broken and glass all over the place.
Right.
And now I saw there's some idiots that go there on a regular basis now, who are religious based, and they're drawing with crayon, literally with crayon on one of the walls, some religious God protect us and this and that. I mean, you don't need to shovel your religious crap. I'm sorry, I'm an atheist, into the paranormal.
It's
you don't
okay.
need to do that. You don't need to. And I don't know. It's just it's a different vibe now. Last time I was there, I was in 2018, and
Wow.
I was surprised. I went through that. We were there for 2 hours. I walked through there. I didn't get one EVP.
No, it's.
And it used to be I could walk in there. I can get 10 EVPs easy. Now there's nothing. It's really. I didn't go to the courthouse like Rob, you did. Yeah. But children's ward, there was nothing there anymore. It was kind of strange.
So it was funny. So I got that toy phone from the children's ward.
Hi, Legally Blonde.
When I made contact with that little boy. That's the only time I ever seen an apparition in that facility. I've been there. I don't know spent how many hours there, and how many times I've been there. It's always been audible things, never anything visual.
Yeah, it's strange.
Right. And now we walk back through. So I went, let's say, a year after I made contact with that little boy, I got nothing. We went back several times. We got nothing. I went back to, which is now where the courthouse is, which that was like one of the darkest areas besides where the black room was, the black bathroom was. What building was that? 46? Was that 46, Wayne?
40. I'm not sure. I think 30. It's in the late 30, 39, something like that. I'm not sure. 46, 39 or something.
The one with the black.
The black bathroom?
Yeah.
That was. Now I don't remember.
Anyway,
I don't think that's there anymore. I think that whole
no,
building's
it's not. Gone. That got bulldozed. Anyway, that was like one of the darkest places besides where the courthouse is. The courthouse is always dark.
Yeah.
And people have said it might have been something more malevolent because of all of the negative activity that was there. We don't know. I mean, it was
there
never
a building that used to be there called Unit 44.
Oh, it's Unit 44. That was it.
The building is still there, but it was completely gutted, and there's brand new classrooms there.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to see if any students in there, if they felt something, because people were attacked in that building.
Right.
Yeah. So I'd love to go down and interview some students to see if they feel anything in those classrooms. Yeah.
In the comment section, Wayne, Kanga Blue has a good question. Why has it gone quiet, or has it? And watching your documentary, Richard Sennett mentioned this, and there was a female investigator in the beginning that stated this was
Rebecca.
Okay, so Rebecca stated very clearly, and I actually froze your documentary right here on the EVP, "Why Can't You See Me Move?" which was as clear as a bell. That sounds intelligent, and the way it was presented in terms of context, it seemed like they were asking the investigators, why can't you see me move? So there seems to be not just residual energy, but an intelligent haunting or consciousness or intelligence there. But why has it gone quiet? Can we theorize they've moved on? Is it because the school's there now? There's no interest in being there? Any theories on that?
Well, the school closed. School started. I'm sorry. Camarillo closed in 1997. School started up 2001, 2002.
Okay, so a few years. Okay.
Hotel Camarillo was made in 2000. from 2012 to 2013,
Okay.
and it was still active then. I mean, one of the last things we got was in where the courthouse was, in that hallway, where we heard a loud disinvited voice go, "Yes," like that, and we all came out of the hallways. Who was that? And so it was active still while we were filming the end of Hotel Camarillo. But now it's to go sometimes at 2 a.m. with some groups, and the children's ward, and you kind of like what they say, the heebie-jeebies and everything. You get all that, and you go home, and you found you've got at least 5-10 EVPs. When I went in 2018, nothing. I mean, just like you're walking down regular hallway of an apartment building. I mean, it's cool to explore, but there was nothing there. I didn't feel. I even had people. They felt a little bit residual things, that people that are sensitive with me, but they weren't jumping out of their skin like people used to do there. So I'm not sure why things have died down.
Right.
Maybe
here's something ironic in the chats. This was a little while ago when you said baby mama drama. Somebody said, that doesn't even know this person, said LOL Don. It just was ironic on just how the timing was on that.
Yeah, there's someone that that's someone that tried to shut down the documentary several times.
Yeah.
Succeeded once.
Yeah.
And then we did the during there's a lull in that relationship. We got in and got the documentary finished, and then it started up again. Well, they were going to make their own, but we got it done. So Hotel Camarillo exists. The other one doesn't. So we're good.
But here's the sad part. So we were everybody that was part of this documentary, we were all very close friends.
Right.
We were very close. I mean, everybody in that film, we were all very close.
Right.
After this film happened, there was so much feuding, and just because you were associated with this person or that person, you got cut off. You were like, nope, I don't want to have anything to do with you. And then when I started releasing footage of Camarillo, it was like, nope, Rob's cut off, and you better take your shit down.
Right. It's ridiculous. I mean, when I first got into the paranormal community here, like 2010, it was a community. People were all gathering like at the Aztec Hotel and gathering at Linda Vista, right. And we'd all trade investigators with each other. And then later it got, well, you're in this group. You can't go with this group. Why are you with that group? You're in our group,
right. Right.
Oh, come on.
Right.
And even back then at Linda Vista, I mean, how many times was Zach there? I mean, just hanging out with everybody. I mean, because he was close friends with Richard. But he was always there with Richard. And, we would go there and it was like, oh yeah, Zach's here. But it was like no big deal. Everybody was like hanging out. We would all go to dinner together. We would all, have beers, whatever, and just sit there in the parking lot and just chit chat. I
was there. I was there when the Hollywood ghost hunters, whatever they're called. It was the guy that plays Jason, the guy that plays the Texas Chainsaw Massacre dude. Right. There's a few people, and they were running around. They're trying to do a sizzle reel, and they were basically running around the hallway scaring each other. For instance, the guy Kane Hodder, that's the guy's name. He left early and took off, and then we're kicking back in the parking lot, and he came back like 25 minutes later. He goes, "Don't tell them I'm here. You're going to sneak up there and scare the shit out of them." So that's basically what happened there. And now there's really nothing like that. Everybody's sequestered into their own corners, and this is my thing. Waverly Hills is mine. This one's mine. Stay away from Camarillo. I'm not really sure what happened.
Yeah. But with all that said, you know what, though? I think we should try to get everybody together and have a reunion of everybody that was involved in that documentary.
It sounds like it's going to go really well, Rob.
I'm being dead serious, though. I mean,
I would love to, especially there's one person in the documentary that at one time I would have considered my teacher about everything to do with the paranormal, because we'd put questions back and forth to each other, because I'm the skeptic and he's the seasoned paranormal investigator. So we go back and forth and try to figure out what could this be? What could that be? Is it? We don't even know what ghosts are. Is it a spirit of a dead person, or is it something else? Are we projecting EVPs somehow? And unfortunately, that person doesn't talk to me, and they were on that team that were going to make the new Hotel Camarillo and big mess there.
But I mean, it's been, I don't know how many years now. What, 5 years, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be enough time for water under the bridge.
I'm completely open to it. These people haven't talked to me in over 5 years. I doubt.
They haven't talked to me either. But you know what? I might just have to reach out and see if we can do something. I mean,
can we do that live on air? That would be excellent content to do it live and to say, you're live on air. How do you feel about this?
No, seriously though.
Do it live. Let's do it.
I mean, because who knows how long Richard's going to be around. Richard Simmons going to be around. Right. Who knows how long some of these other people are going to be around. I mean, you know what?
That's a good point.
I just miss those old times. I mean,
I do too.
Yeah. So, I think it's enough water in the bridge. I mean, time has gone by enough to where I think we should just all get together and see what.
I really hate to want to bring up things like politics, but politics divided everybody around 2016.
Right.
Unfortunately. And it's like a mean streak on one side. There's on both sides, of course, but mostly on one side there's a very big mean streak. And where is this coming from? I never knew these people to be like this. And for instance, like say another group is doing their own documentary. I want to support them, but they don't talk to me anymore. But they supported my document. They supported both of my documentaries. They came to see it. They talked about it and everything. I would love to do the same thing, but they wouldn't want to hear from me, Right. But I would love to. I'd love to reciprocate, and say, yeah, these people. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen their new documentary. I don't know when it's coming out. But I'd love to support people like that again, like we used to do, things like that.
No, I totally would also. I mean, like I said, this community, because you don't hear about any ghost hunters anymore in Ventura County, LA County. No, seriously. I mean, you just don't.
Yeah.
Marianne says, "Do it, guys. Life is too short."
I mean,
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Anybody that was in Hotel Camarillo, you want to come on Pair Awakening and say, "Hey, how's it going?" I'll be here.
I'll sub for someone. I'll act like I was there. I'll join in. This sounds fun. No, I wasn't a part of it, and now I can be a part of it. I'll play whatever character.
I mean, it's just a community that's pretty much died. I mean, before there was so many groups out there.
Yeah.
You couldn't even count on two hands. Now you can basically count on one hand how many groups are still together, and that might be one, maybe two.
Yeah, I mean, even before the end of my first documentary, so many groups broke up before the documentary was even over.
Yep.
That was 2011 when I finished that documentary. Things just started to go down,
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, it's been about 10 years.
Yeah.
Paranormal groups or investigative groups remind me a lot of bands. Growing up, I was in a lot of bands, and people go to this band, you can't play with that band, or I'm in a second band, but you can't play with this band, and we broke up, and then we're not talking to each other. I mean, it really comes down to human traits. It really comes down to the ego and emotions get involved, and people become possessive. And I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. We're all human, but there's a lot of similarities when you get people together as a group. Trying to keep that together is very, very difficult.
Right. I mean, I unfortunately got into the drama myself, so I'm not.
We all did. We all did.
Huh? Yeah.
We all
I'm
did.
not interested at all about that stuff, but I wouldn't mind. I mean, for instance, well, he's a public figure, Scott Grunwald.
Yeah.
We were kind of butting heads after the whole Linda Vista thing happened and everything, and we weren't really on great terms. And maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I don't remember what it was. He saw me on the Queen Mary. He just came up to me. He wanted to give me a hug. He said, "Dude, I'm still not your greatest fan." He goes, "I don't care. I'm not your greatest fan either."
That was at my birthday party.
I said,
That's great, though.
I don't even care. Look, this was so long ago, and most of those people have been jerks now.
Right.
And this is completely clean the slate. How you doing?
Sure.
Things like that. So we we're not great. Hey, we're not great buddies, but we still talk.
Yeah. But you know what though? Yeah. Both of you are embraced what it means to be in the community and say, you know what, we may have had some disagreements, we may not agree on everything, but hey, you're doing your thing. I don't wish you harm. I wish you the best. Same, vice versa. That's what it's about. That's a perfect example.
Well, so here's what's funny. So Wayne, when Scott Grunwald reached out to me, because it was for my birthday. Remember, we were going to the Queen Mary for my birthday,
right?
And he reached out to me shortly before that because he had me blocked on Facebook. There was some things that happened.
I think I have you blocked on Facebook, Rob.
And he was upset with me, so he reached out to me. He unblocked me, reached out to me, and said, "Hey, I heard that they're having a party for you on the Queen Mary. I would like to come to your birthday party." And he said, "I'm willing to put everything behind us." And I said, "Dude, I never had a beef with you. I don't know even where that came from." And I said, "Dude, you're more than welcome to come." So, so he came aboard, and we just embraced like two, lost girlfriends, whatever, and just gave each other a big hug. People were like taking pictures, and they're like, "Come here, turn around," and we just had like this stupid shit-looking grin on our faces. It was such a stupid picture, and
I took the same kind of.
And so it was like we all kissed made up, and then even after that, it's like it is what it is. I think he got pissed off at me for whatever, and now he's blocked me again. But you know what? Whatever.
Oh, that sucks.
You know what?
I've been going around asking a few people from the first documentary because I'm writing a book. I mean, I've been on page 6 for about a year, but I'm asking permission to use people's names, and Scott included. I asked him to. Everybody said yes so far. But I have reached out to people I haven't talked to in years from the first documentary, and Hotel Camarillo. That book is yet to be written. If I write a book about what happened, I don't think I would really delve into the real.
You're going to need private security, Wayne. If you push this issue anymore, I'm thinking like 2 guards, fully loaded.
It really shouldn't be that way, though.
No, it shouldn't.
It's just a silly. I don't know if it's called silly documentary, but it's just it's a part of the paranormal community that's not there anymore. So like the first one was with how it was in 2010, 2011 in the community. Hotel Camarillo is basically where everybody, whether they want to admit it or not, went to Camarillo and investigated and trespassed, and that's what Hotel Camarillo is encompassing. It's that part of the community that used to do that, and I don't think. I see people on YouTube go to Camarillo now, and they're just running through halls, scaring themselves, and you go, "Oh my God, what is this? Oh my God, look, there's an orb going by. Oh my God," and it's not really serious,
Yeah,
right.
Here was the thing. Like with with Camarillo Star Hospital, there's no trespassing signs anywhere. And at one time, we were walking through there, and a security guard asked us, "What are you guys doing here?" And we're like, "Oh, we're just taking pictures of the buildings."
Right.
Yeah.
And then I said, there was a couple of doors that were open, so we walked in and we walked around. And he said, "You know what? As long as there's a door open, you guys can go in. But if you guys have to, pry open a door or something like that, and we see any damage, or if you break a window, we will charge you for trespassing and
Oh,
breaking
yeah.
and entering.
Right.
But he said, if you find a door open, have at it.
Right.
I'm sure it's not an official stance, but that's good to
No,
know.
but that's what he said. That's what he told us.
Yeah.
So, but he said, just be careful, but he was I mean, even it was one of the cops. I mean, he was really cool. But he
Yeah,
just said,
we heard stories. I don't really know a whole lot of people that have been caught by the campus police. I might have heard of
now they're
maybe one.
strict. Now they're really strict because of the
Wow.
asbestos.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
But I know, so sometimes we go 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night into the buildings, and I've heard stories where sometimes the campus police would hear them. They would not go inside those buildings at night.
Yeah.
They would yell through the window, "We're going to send the dogs in if you don't get out of there. We're sending the dogs in right now. Get out!" But they wouldn't come and look for anybody. They didn't want to be in those buildings.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
They are
Right.
creepy.
Yeah.
So speaking of creepy, I have a special guest tonight that's going to be coming on to join me. Now, she gives me the creeps. I don't know what it is, but literally, I get anxiety. And I said that I would put her on camera, and I really got to. Anyway, so yeah, seriously, I get
Well,
major anxiety. And I'm not like this with a lot of objects, but this one freaks me out, and I don't know what it is. And I get really bad anxiety, but I'm gonna just for the show, I'm gonna just deal with that and put her on camera. And I want to see if anybody out there gets any virus from this thing.
what do you?
But
Looks like
so she's a
one of those
porcelain doll.
1930s dolls.
Yeah, she's kind of. If you look at her face, she's kind of trying to get it on camera, right?
Yeah. Now she's looking right at me.
There's a little bit of a scowl.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, look at her face.
She's like, "Why are you the only one wearing a tie?"
But yeah, she creeps me out.
What is that from? What's the story behind that?
I don't know. She was purchased, not as anything haunted or anything, but she was purchased off of eBay. But literally, so she's put in like a hutch, and when the hutch was open the first time, I just got instant goosebumps, and I had such bad anxiety. I'm like, oh hell no. But then there was a really creepy doll that's also porcelain that was brought out, and I had no issues with that one. It's just this one. I don't know what, and the other one is even more scary. This face is even more scary. Anyway,
I'm okay with doll. I've never had an issue with dolls.
no, like
Just
right
in
now, I'm
general.
still getting.
Really?
Yeah, I have really bad anxiety.
So if you gave me the doll and I put it in the pillow next to me when I went to bed tonight, you'd be like, "Oh my God, Josh, what are you doing?" And I'd be like, "No, it's okay."
like I was threatened, like, oh, you're gonna wake up and this doll's gonna be sleeping next to you, and I was like, oh hell no.
Wow. Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, seriously, I have anxiety right now.
No, I can tell.
bad.
I just
Really bad.
yeah.
It's freaking me out.
Wow.
Are you going to put a camera on it tonight?
I don't know.
So I guess
seriously, I need to do a seance and see if there's anything attached to this doll.
well, my question is why, if you are having anxiety from it, why are you keeping it close to you in the same residence? I'm just going to ask the obvious question.
She's being taken away.
Oh, she is. Okay. Rob's not sweating anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it freaks me out.
Wow, Rob is definitely keeping track of where that doll is in the room at the corner of his eye.
Wow.
Yeah, you got the jitters. Oh, this is
Yeah,
good to know.
It's gonna
So
be...
you don't like dolls. This is good to know.
Oh, not that one.
Not that.
Oh,
Okay.
you know what's funny? So I went to go hang out one of my good friends and I went up to his parents' house to go visit them. Um, so I was hanging out with his mom. We're outside talking, and finally she was like, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. She was like, "All right, we need to go to bed," and she was like, "Oh, you're gonna be sleeping in the guest room tonight." Blah blah. So I'm like, okay. So I carried my bag in there, put my bag down, shut the door. I turned on the light, and so I was getting undressed with my back turned to the room, whatever, because it was like a little changing area. I turned around, walk in the room, and I was like, "Oh, fuck!"
Oh,
The room was like surrounded, all four sides with dolls, and I'm just like, there was this one doll in particular. I was like, literally ready to shit my pants. I
oh,
literally threw the covers over my head, turned off the light, and went to bed. And I slept under the cover.
this is making me cringe, and this is also very helpful information for the future.
Yeah. So
Rob's kryptonite. Wayne, we have leverage now.
Right.
Wow, I didn't know that. No, and
no, but you know
a
what?
lot of
It's
people.
not all dolls. It was just
It
this
isn't
one
okay.
freaking particular doll that freaked me out. No, I've had a haunted doll that somebody gave me. I would carry that thing around. It was sitting in my back seat. I would have her literally seatbelt in my back seat. I didn't have a problem with that one.
Okay.
So
I
many
had another
ideas for Rob's.
person.
So
Right.
many ideas for Rob's next birthday party.
Right, I know. I was gonna say this is all we've got it recorded. We won't forget anything. Timestamp it.
Like
Lily said
a bouncy
she's
room
judge.
full of dolls.
Right.
Right?
She's judge. Illegally blonde. Oh, I'm not gonna repeat that. I'll let Rob repeat it because apparently he's not gonna get a copyright strike or not a copyright strike, a language strike, copyright strike.
Oh,
Let's
I
see.
don't care.
Oh, Deb
Yeah,
says she
I'm
doesn't
gonna
like
get
dolls.
banned. I'm gonna get freaking thrown in Facebook jail. I don't care because YouTube doesn't care.
Deb says she doesn't like dolls. So there are people that don't generally like dolls.
No, but I wanted to see if anybody out there got like a weird vibe from her. I'm gonna have to do seriously. I want to do a séance and see if I can pull anything out of her.
Dawn. Yeah, everyone knows this now.
Yeah.
Good job, Rob.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna bring out another doll, which I don't have any issues with. But this one's even more
Okay.
creepy.
Okay. Let's see.
No, this one's even more creepy.
Yeah, Kanga, I think it's is it dolls
No,
in general
it's
or a
only
particular
that
doll,
one
right?
doll. That one doll is. I'm still freaking like shaking right now. That's how bad it is. I mean, she gives
Really?
me such bad anxiety. Oh yeah, I mean it's really bad. Oh, let me see that one. And this one's from the 1800s.
My boss told me this is the one
Wow.
in the Whaley House.
So this one is from the Whaley House.
No.
Oh.
It's like similar to what we had in the Whaley House.
This
but
one's heavy. So here's another one, and this is a porcelain doll.
I feel a little funny about this one.
No, this one's fine. I don't have any.
I don't know that.
But she's a little
She's a little creepier, and yeah, she even has like these weird boots that are made out of porcelain.
Not a fan of the boots.
And porcelain arms.
Yeah, we're done with that one.
She's heavy.
Interesting though. It is interesting how people have different feeling and inherent sixth sense about
But that
certain
one's from the
objects
1800s.
and dolls.
It's
That one's from
heavy
1800s.
because it has the ashes of the girl that formerly played with that doll inside of it.
Oh
Right?
my god, is that now? Are there wait, are there dolls in that situation where they have the ashes of someone who's passed? Do they? I mean,
I
they
would
put
do that.
Oh, that's right.
I would do something like that.
Yeah, they did. They did do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
They would have ashes. Yeah.
Now I'm not afraid of dolls, but that might be borderline for me. I may not be comfortable with that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's no different than an urn, but still, I mean,
Yeah, it's like
I mean, urns are so boring now. You should just put it in a doll or something that you can make it look like you or something like a.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. Now that's a. Oh man, is this a business idea or are you just talking?
It is
I
silly.
think so.
I mean,
We should look into this.
Copyright, patent, trademark, the three of us. There we go. No one can take our idea of putting ashes in a doll. There you go.
yeah.
Oh, a morbid thought. Yeah,
Well-
Deb says no. Oh, fudge no.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Wayne, for coming on the
Yeah,
show.
thank you.
There's so much more that we got to talk about this. But I'm definitely going to start working on the reunion.
Okay. And we gotta work on our own documentary.
Yeah, we still got to work on our ITC document.
Right, uncelebrity Kevin Hart. Uncelebrity Kevin Hart says urns can't get up and walk around though. That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, it'll be like Trilogy of Terror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll take out the ashes and then they'll come out and attack you.
Oh my gosh. Oh, enough.
You'll see little ashes trails on the floor.
They want to see the doll one more time. Which one do you guys want to see?
Oh my
Which
gosh.
doll do you guys want to see? The blonde hair or the black hair?
Can we see both?
Oh my God, no, not the
Oh.
not the scary one.
You pick, or Wayne, you pick. Wayne's our guest. Wayne gets the pick.
The blonde one.
The one on my shoulder.
Yeah, Rob wouldn't even turn around and acknowledge her. He's just looking straight ahead.
Oh, she's pissed.
Oh yeah,
she's
she
pissed
does.
now.
Oh, Rob, you should apologize. That was a scowl. Wayne, it looked different.
It did.
Oh my gosh,
Looks like the
Rob.
eyebrows went down.
Right. Woo, Rob. I would backpedal a little bit.
Did she look different?
There was a noticeable scowl. She's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, you look. Rob's worried now.
Oh, dude, that no, seriously, I get such freaking bad anxiety from that doll.
You should sleep with a crucifix tonight.
Oh, and she's behind you now, Rob. Ooh.
So speaking of which, ITC. Yeah, it's gonna be. There's some exciting stuff coming soon. Very exciting stuff coming soon.
If you make it through the night.
Yeah, if I make it through the night.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I'm glad you're keeping my documentary in the conversation. It's 2014. I still haven't made another one yet. I'm trying to, but I'm glad
that's why
I'm glad you still find it fascinating.
That's why we're bringing. Well, yeah. I mean, this was an amazing documentary that I had to share, and that's going to lead me up to you getting your next documentary done, which is going to be on ITC.
Yes.
Oh, excellent.
So maybe during that documentary, I will have a new project built that I'm kind of announced to Josh. So
You're going to announce just to me? Like you're going to hold an event and I get to show up and you're going to...
No, I mean, it's something to do with Project Blu-ray. I mean, it might be coming to box form.
I know what it is. I think I know what it is.
It might be coming to box form.
No, it's very exciting.
I might be doing a prototype box. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm very excited for it.
And Wayne, I'm excited to see I know you have to get things started, and Rob's filled me in on a lot, but the ITC documentary is very interesting, and there's so much valuable history that goes back, dates the last century, and the progress that humankind has made up to this point. It's really fascinating. And whether you're into ITC or not, I can imagine that the history will have a lot to reveal to people who may be new to the subject. So
Josh, just touch what happened on last Saturday's show. This was kind of like mind-blowing.
Last Saturday's show, let's see, they all kind of blurred together.
Well, when we talked about when somebody came in and we were just, for some weird reason, what the hell was that?
What was what?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Yeah. I don't know. It sounded like a cry, or did it? What did you hear?
That doll is rallying the other dolls
Right.
tonight.
Yeah.
What did you hear?
Rob, they're just having a meeting. Don't worry about it. Leave the dolls have their meeting.
No, I seriously heard something. Did you guys hear anything? Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so lightheaded right now.
So the thing is at
Oh
120
man.
and what was
Oh
45 seconds maybe.
man.
We go back and wind this back when it gets posted.
Oh my god. No, that was weird. I'm like seriously dizzy right now. There was like it sounded like a voice, a female voice, or like a cry or something. It couldn't make it out. Um, somebody else heard it also.
Okay. Um, yeah. Timestamp.
Well, just
I
to
mean,
be safe,
120.
let's go up to 118 when this video is posted. We should be able to hear something around that time point.
Wow.
So anyway,
Yeah.
getting back to what we're talking about. So speaking of like ITC, so last week on Saturday's show, we were just talking about ITC in general, and we had a viewer on, and we brought up Project Blu-ray.
Oh, yes. Yes. Rob, I'm so. I sleep like 4 hours a night. Yes. Now I remember. Yes. Okay.
So when we brought up Project Blu-ray, tell them what happened, Josh. I mean, you could explain it better.
Well, we had brought up Project Blu-ray, and within probably, and I'm just throwing out a number here, I could be wrong, 10 or 15 minutes, we had someone named Autumn Ray join the session randomly. We had never met or seen Autumn Ray before. And her father was connected as a helper to Bashar, or Daryl Enka, who is a channeler. And he has mentioned, from my knowledge, I could be wrong, but has mentioned Blu-ray several times, and a technology that he is able to channel and a few others are able to channel, but they cannot bring it audibly. It wasn't their role or responsibility to bring it audibly. But he's mentioned over the years that there will be people in the future, or someone coming in the future, who will bring the technology forward so it is audible. So this person, Autumn, comes into the chat. We have no idea who she is. And she brings up, when she sees us mention Blu-ray, she goes, oh my gosh, that's what Bashar talks about, Daryl Anka. My father's worked with him. And, I'm familiar with Blu-ray being channeled, and here you are bringing it in audibly. So she had that kind of synchronicity, and it's a very synchronous moment, because I have people that have gone to see Bashar live. I have not myself. I only know of him.
I didn't even know about him.
Right. Rob didn't know about him. But apparently there are people that are able to channel psychically or telepathically this information. And he says people in the future, this was years ago, he said people in the future will be able to bring it forth audibly. And here we are. And Rob's communication, which has come through, again, we can't prove anything, but has been saying Blu-ray and been giving more and more clues over the last 4 to 6 months about this type of communication.
But there was a key word that I said that she was like, holy crap. Because I mentioned, I said something about light language. I said I was getting messages about a different language. And then I said I couldn't really say what it was. It was like something language, but I couldn't put the two together. And then she said, light language? You mean light language? And I said, that's it. Light language. That's what the words that they were telling me, that I need to learn the light language. And then she was like, holy shit. There was like other things that were also said. So everything was like just stacking up, everything was just like ironic. Okay, so they talked about, she said, you guys are talking about Blu-ray. Wait, what? How do you know about Blu-ray? And then I started talking about it. And then I brought up, they were giving me like a code word about, or something about something type of language. And then they said light language. So the light language, so Blu-ray is what? I guess it's a different it's a type of alien form, and the light language is based on communication between, um, yeah, between the beings, and so it's kind of crazy. It was just kind of crazy on how everything just came through.
A lot of synchronicities.
There's
But
a lot of synchronicities.
but we had been talking about it recently, and I've been pushing you to go forth with it. And then after a lot of these things started aligning, you said, you know what, it is time. It's time to make a box of this. And yeah, so that's essentially what I'd imagine is the prototype that you're bringing forward, right?
Right.
Okay. Oh, very excited. Very excited. And I'm hoping whenever my stuff ships, probably be 2024 at this point. But I can do something alongside you, and then we can have these. Maybe we can start streaming them on the Saturday show. You know, I'd love to start streaming this device as well as soon as I can get my rest of my parts in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see that physical manifestation of the Blu-ray box. That'll be great.
So yeah, and I just ordered some parts. They're not going to be here till like mid-January.
Right. At least.
At least.
Right.
Yeah. From the time frame I got, they said it was estimated mid-January.
Well, yeah. So Wayne, we have a lot. We're gonna have a lot to talk with you about in terms of your ITC documentary, and hopefully we can be a part of that. I'd love to be, you know, to be a part of that with you. And I have a lot of wasted space in my head of history and references for ITC. So I'd love to help you out any way I can. And
Great.
So I'm very excited about that though. If it's
Awesome.
anything like what you just did, then I can't wait, to see what you do with the documentary.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, we'll do our best.
That'll be great.
Especially with breakthroughs you guys are talking about. I mean, that'll ramp up the documentary toward the end. This is where it's going. This is where it was. This is where it is. This is where it's going to go. You know.
And a lot of progress being made in the visual ITC department. A lot of people working with a lot of great visual work too. I mean, it's just there's so much to discuss, and a lot of people who say that this field of study, if you will, is going stale. Again, they're just looking for the instant gratification because there's absolutely nothing stale about something we know nothing about.
Right.
I mean, this is the greatest adventure, one of the greatest adventures of humankind. So to ever say it's stale or stagnant just blows my mind on how you could take something like this for granted. So, if I have a role in your documentary, it's going to pump that energy and excitement into where this could be going into the future and future generations, what we're looking at with that type of communication.
Right.
Right.
Oh, very exciting.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Deb, what are you talking about? About your comment. I don't know what you're talking about.
Amazon has been really behind with sending stuff. Yeah, Dawn. It is that time of year. The alien talking. Oh, Carl says the alien talking in the Blu-ray sounds like any speech a humanoid being would make. Good observation. I do hear yes. Okay, I was just catching up on that. Yeah, Deb, exactly. Stale, you're freaking kidding. Yeah, exactly. we know nothing about this. We can't lock anything down, and people are saying the field is stale and stagnant. So that's an odd phrase to align with ITC and the paranormal. It doesn't make any sense to me.
What are you talking about?
Well, when people say the field is stagnant or stale, or I've heard something out of a digital voice recorder or a radio, and what's next? Well, how about we try and figure out who we're talking to first?
Right.
People are wanting to move forward with technology. It's like we have so much to work with right now. So many people are conducting sessions, and we have so much to review. Have you reviewed all your evidence? Have I? No. There's not enough time in the day. So to say something is stale or stagnant in ITC or paranormal is just the most asinine phrase you could make towards this field of research and study. Just my honest opinion.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, Uncelebrity Kevin Hart says people are stale.
Yeah. Deb,
It's a good point, Kevin.
Yeah, Deb. Yeah. I'm just Deb. Your answer to your question is yes, but I don't know what. Anyway.
Edward says it's like what they say about virtual reality or VR, right? Yeah, which is blowing up. Very good point.
Well, I mean, VR hit a pinnacle for a while,
Right,
and then
right.
it died, and now it's coming back. So, I don't know.
You know what? Carl brings up this good point, Rob. I think we need to use ourselves as the instruments more. Our consciousness can go beyond our technology.
Yeah.
Carl,
Oh,
absolutely.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's funny because
Right, Deb. Yes. Sorry, Rob. I'm interrupting you left and right.
and Deb, yeah, Deb, that's all
sorry.
I said was yes. I mean, same voice. That's all I got to say. Anyway, no, with that whole thing with the using ourselves as instruments, no, that's absolutely correct. And just with what I'm doing, because okay, so sorry, Wayne. So we're just giving a background on Blu-ray.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
so Blu-ray has shifted. Josh has all that I use for Blu-ray. Um, everything that I use for Blu-ray is in now Josh's possession.
Yeah, right here.
He has tried to use the same I have and hasn't had the same
Correct.
responses. Now, I broke it down to very little technology. There's still some technology there, but it's very minimal, and I'm having the same responses.
Right.
So,
Well, it's interesting you say that because early on, people that I did ITC with, they'd say it's more of a personal thing. You have to stick to one box, even if you hack it yourself. And this one box, you can use 2 or 3 boxes, but there's one particular box you're tuned into or zoned into, and it'll work more for you than. I'm wondering if that's the same thing with the equipment Josh has from you. Maybe, I mean, it doesn't make any sense really, honestly,
Right.
but none of the paranormal makes sense. We're figuring it out. So maybe it has more of an effect when you're using it than when Josh is using it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm getting responses, but they're not. It's night and day in terms of the feeling of the communication, and where I believe if I had to theorize, which astral plane or dimension to be very general, I feel like it's more lower level, lower astral plane communication when I run the equipment compared to Rob, which to me, my opinion, my theory is higher level or interdimensional or some other type of unusual communication, which isn't normally picked up by maybe a ghost box. So but that's fascinating. Even though I'm not having success, it still leads to helping ask a better question and say, okay, so Rob's getting this, but Josh isn't. What is it about Rob? What's Rob bringing to the table? What have other ITC researchers in the past brought to the table that they bring as their own body or spirit or energy as the instrument or to help facilitate that? So it's really fantastic that we're getting results like this no matter what they are.
And you notice that Rob hates the SB1. Rob absolutely hates the SB7. But you would think if the ITC was this normal root thing you just dial into, you'd get it on any box.
Right.
But Rob, how much success have you had with the SB7 versus something you made?
honestly, I haven't had a whole lot of success with the SB7. I've had a lot of success with my boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's a good point. And we've talked about the energy and intent that an ITC builder engineer will put into their devices.
Right.
But I would say now, I think with I probably have success with any box that I've touched. But there was a shift in something else has happened. I mean, there's been, but it's not constant. I mean, it's like any box. I mean, you try to use one box and or many boxes in one night, and you have absolutely no communication.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Uncelebrity Kevin Hart says, my best response came from an SB7. And that's the case for a lot of people. They've had
Yeah,
amazing full
exactly.
sentence responses through an SB7. And so there you go, Kevin. And I'm just guessing, Kevin, but maybe you've formed a connection with this box. Your contact field is open, it's wide, and you are able to receive that communication regardless of the instrument, regardless of the radio.
Right.
So that's, it's
you
really
just want
interesting.
the smoke, not the fire.
Linear time restriction, right, Kanga, right? Carl says our vibration needs to be in resonance with the entities we are trying to communicate with, or we won't pick up anything, box or not. And that's, Carl, I 100% agree with you. We've got to prove that in ITC, and we've got to have science on our side, along with our spiritual gifts and talents to help prove that. But I agree with you. I believe that aligning that frequency and vibration, we can not only speak to other entities, but they all speak or they all resonate or come in at different frequencies. We hear different intelligence at different frequencies or different vibrations. It's a very good point. Right, Deb, deeper philosophical question. Rob,
What's going on with
right?
Rob?
Yeah.
No, there was just something.
The doll's back in the room. It has to be. The doll has to be
it's
back
actually, there's just some saging going on.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway,
You're
but,
really freaked out. Okay.
yeah. No, I mean seriously, that we heard a voice.
Are your lights dimming themselves? People are reporting your lights dimming.
My light?
Yeah, your lights in
No.
the location, are they dimming at all?
Mm.
Okay,
I
maybe
think
it's a
just,
streaming issue.
Artifact
Yeah, live.
to the video. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I see it.
Right. See,
No, it's
When he moves, yeah.
probably the fan. It's probably the fan.
Deb, Deb's mentioning a question about the council, and that's a good point. The communication we're receiving in ITC at times, could it be ourselves in the future if time is different or doesn't exist in another dimension or the astral plane? Then when we cross over, can we go back and access that point in time and come back and talk to ourselves? Is the council, us in the future, coming back to talk to us now? It's a great question, Deb.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, but excellent question. Wondered that myself. Yeah, the doll is doing it, right?
No, I'm sorry. I was just really freaked out by that stupid doll.
Yeah, you're squirming a lot. I'm a little worried about you now. Before it was fun to poke fun at you. Now you're sweating. I hope you don't have a...
No, it's okay. It's all good. It's all
Okay.
good.
Next thing, you're going to be the guy we hear about that's vomiting and stuff's coming out the rear because something passed through you in the middle of the night. We're going to be talking about you tomorrow.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
We'll have that
Really
same
concerned
interview
here.
from Hotel Camarillo.
Right.
Yeah. But all right, guys. I think we're gonna call it a night.
Yes, and thank you, Wayne. And please, Wayne,
Thank
can
you,
you
Wayne.
please plug your documentary one more time? Please let everyone know everything you want us to know
I'll
about it.
paste it. I'll paste a link in the,
Yeah,
in the comments.
You can watch Hotel Camarillo on Amazon Prime. You can also watch my first documentary, Night Stalkers, is there. But if you do watch Hotel Camarillo and you're able to leave a review, that'd be great. If you can leave a review on Amazon, because sometimes the stars go back and forth depending on who doesn't like me that week.
Well, yeah, I mean, people, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, it's the internet. So, yeah, but definitely help out Wayne and help out our community. We all contribute our talents, with ITC and the paranormal. So please help out Wayne. Drop a like, 5 stars, leave a good comment, and let's help push this documentary, because I think it's, despite the internal conflict and drama between a lot of people who helped make the documentary and the paranormal research teams, I still think it's really good for other people to know about this location and to see what you uncovered. And, so let's support Wayne community. I know we're going to do a good job there. And thank you for coming on and talking about it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Oh,
thank
yeah,
you.
no problem. All right. Well, you guys have a good night.
We'll see you Saturday.
All right. See you guys Saturday.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Bye.